My wife and I purchased the Devil's House. My wife and I found the perfect house when we moved to our new town, or so we thought. Now, for the most part, everything seemed ordinary when we toured the house before making the offer. The only thing that seemed odd to me was the fact that every piece of furniture they owned sat directly on the floor. The couches had no legs, and the bed frame slats had been removed so that the mattress and box springs sat directly on the floor. I thought it was weird, but didn't give it any additional thought. The other thing I noticed was the hand-painted WC on the frosted glass of the bathroom door. Looking at the hallway, I realized this was an old boarding house, but just figured that would give the place some character. The owners were eager to sell and accepted our offer immediately. About 2 months later, we formalized the paperwork and they moved out and we moved in. It didn't take long for the uneasiness to settle in. I was inspecting our new domain when I decided to venture into the basement. It was an old root cellar with a steep staircase and dirt walls. The floor was dirt also, and the furnace and water heater sat on bricks in here. The single light bulb provided minimal light. As I inspected the household equipment, I felt an overwhelming uneasiness. Something or someone did not want me there. Recognizing that I had worn out my welcome, I proceeded back upstairs. I decided to go upstairs to the second floor. We had planned to use it as a hangout area. I had my guitars there and hoped to relax myself by playing. I climbed the first riser and opened the doorway to the upstairs. About halfway up the second riser, I heard a door creak open. My hair stood on end as I was home alone. I turned back and saw the closet under the first riser had opened. I slowly went downstairs and looked in the closet. There was nothing there, so I closed the door and ensured it was latched. I then proceeded back up the stairs, and again, as I was ascending the second riser, the door slowly creaked open. I didn't turn around this time and ascended the remaining stairs. I shut and locked the door at the top of the stairs and threw on my headphones. I began playing my electric guitar and lost track of time. After about an hour, I nearly jumped out of my skin when my wife tapped me on the shoulder to get my attention. She laughed and asked why I was so jumpy. I described my experience, and she laughed. My wife had never had a paranormal experience and therefore didn't believe me. Something about her laughter upset me, so I decided I would show her. I led her downstairs into the basement where she too felt the uneasiness. That's when she asked me what the carvings were. I'd never seen them before, nor had I ever seen anything like them. If I had to guess, they were Norse, but I don't know much about that kind of stuff. Dinner was calm, and the rest of the evening seemed normal for the most part. We watched TV without issue. It wasn't until after we had both showered that my wife mentioned the uneasy feeling as though you were being watched. I admitted that I had felt it too. We discussed the possibility of asking our pastor once we found a church to come bless the house and ward off any evil spirits. We kissed goodnight, and I laid down to go to sleep, when my wife said she had forgotten her reading glasses on the bathroom vanity. She stood up to go to the bathroom when suddenly I heard her scream and then hit the floor with a thud. I watched in horror as she cried out as she was pulled under the bed. I grabbed her hand and tried to pull her back, but watched her body go limp and her eyes lifeless as she was ripped from my grasp. She disappeared, and for about an hour, I heard the disgusting sound of some monster-like creature sloppily crunching away at what I presumed to be her bones. I'm scared shitless and want to cry. My phone is on the dresser across the room, and I'm too scared to move. I'm trying to breathe as slowly and cautiously as possible, but deep down, I know whatever is down there is waiting for me. I guess now I know why their bed was on the floor.